Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy Monday. My name is Kiki, and welcome back to Voice of Faith. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for joining today. It's a pleasure to have you. I wanted to hop on to just share part of my self care journey, my self care rituals, which involves walking in nature. This is one of the many parks in my development. I enjoy walking. This usually entails part of my worship. I listen to my worship music and do some praise. And oftentimes I'll bring my dog along so he gets his outdoor time as well. Because I am recording, I didn't bring the dog along, but normally I do incorporate my dog into this part of my self care ritual. But I wanted to share this part of my journey with you and how healing and therapeutic it has been, and how it has just increased my intimacy with God in so many ways, and how this experience has transformed my life in so many ways. So, I do have a quick testimony to share. As I've shared in previous videos, I'm currently still on my surrender journey, my wilderness journey. I felt like I was in my wilderness journey last year, um, and just walking in obedience, trusting God fully. And I remember when I first stepped away from travel nursing and just followed God's lead. I remember going to a friend who's a massage therapist for a massage. And I remember her saying that I was so tense and she could feel the stress in my body. And she suggested I ground. I said, well, what is grounding? She's like, it's when you kind of reconnect with nature, you walk barefoot in the grass. I'm not quite fully barefoot because it is a lot of poo out here, but normally I strip down, removing my socks, and I'm barefoot to the grass. It's cold. It can be cold. It can be damp. It can be a little uneasy at first until you become familiar. But grounding is so therapeutic in so many ways. It helps boost energy and mood, can get you spiritually connected to the ground, helps with immune system, mental health, emotional health. It is just so therapeutic in so many ways. And I was interested and excited to start that journey. And that journey has been so instrumental in my healing. And so while I'm out here sharing this journey with you, I wanted to give a backstory on why this is such an important part of my journey. About 25 years ago, yes, I'm 40, at the age of 15, I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease, which is caused by a dare tick bite, which triggered this autoimmune neurological disorder called Guillain-Barré or Guillain-Barré. The two together left me paralyzed from the neck down. I was wheelchair bound for 3 months. I was an inpatient at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia literally my entire summer. The end of ninth grade, I was out um, playing in my backyard. I grew up in the suburbs, in the outskirts of Philadelphia. So I had grown accustomed to being in nature. I enjoyed nature, to ride my bike, play outside. That was my childhood and something I came to enjoy. So I just spent a typical summer, starting a typical summer. And I remember seeing a bug on my chest. I remember it biting me and it startled me. And to my initial appearance, it looked like a spider. I didn't think nothing of it. Shoot it off. Several weeks later, the process began. Several weeks later, I started experiencing symptoms of nausea, vomiting, just discomfort. My mom took me to my primary care physician, who thought maybe it was just a summer bug. This is the beginning of June 20, summer of 2000, the beginning of June. Thought maybe it was just a seasonal bug. So my doctor treated the symptoms. I ended up developing an allergic reaction to the medication to help resolve the nausea. The allergic reaction led to convulsions, so I ended up requiring hospitalization in the ER to deal with the allergic reaction to the anti-nausea medication. Nonetheless, we got that out the way. Within a matter of weeks, my symptoms worsened, leading to really, really bad migraines, headaches, increased weakness starting from my feet up, which that is a telltale sign of Guillain-Barré. Guillain-Barré causes paralysis ascending, meaning from the bottom up. So over the course of weeks, I became more weak from the feet up and to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I'm a 15-year-old who couldn't get out of bed. My mom had taken me back to the emergency room 2 or 3 times over the span of those symptoms progressing. They kept dismissing it. Oh, maybe it's just this, maybe it's just that. They didn't have any clear indication of what it was, so they kept sending me back home. Well, after several weeks and progressing symptoms to the point of paralysis, 15-year-old that is now completely paralyzed from the neck up, my mom took me back to the emergency room and refused to take me home until she had answers. So because they weren't sure what exactly it was, they ran a gamut of tests. They tried to rule out multiple sclerosis, even HIV. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a clear picture, so they ended up doing a diagnostic test called a lumbar puncture, also known as spinal tap, when they test the fluid within your spinal cord. That diagnosed me with Guillain-Barré or Guillain-Barré, which again is an autoimmune neurological disorder, very rare. It is usually a disorder that lays dormant in your body, and some other condition or illness brings it out of dormancy. And for me, apparently it was a condition that was dormant in my body for years and didn't reveal itself until the Lyme disease, which was caused by the deer tick, brought it out of dormancy. And so, because it has more severe symptoms and I had the two together, it quickly resulted in paralysis. Oftentimes that Guillain-Barré, it's a neurological disorder, so that was the cause of the headaches and the weakness and the paralysis, which for many, it can be even more severe and life-threatening, resulting in breathing issues, which can lead you to having to be on a ventilator, cardiac issues, which can lead you to have to be on a cardiac floor, and so many other life-threatening conditions. Prayerfully, God is so good. While it did result in paralysis, a temporary paralysis, it did not have the severe symptoms of cardiac issues or respiratory. All of that remained intact. But in the meantime, I did have to do 14 days of an IV medication for the Guillain-Barré. And eventually, through further workup and a blood test, they were able to find the Lyme disease through a blood test, only to come to the understanding, the conclusion that it was the Lyme disease from the deer tick bite that triggered the Guillain-Barré out of dormancy. So nonetheless, I'm 15, spending my summer in the hospital, 3 months inpatient, wheelchair bound, having to learn how to walk again. They said it was such a rare case to see the two together that they told me I may never walk again. But I am a living, walking testimony in so many ways. And here I am walking, talking, living life with no indication of what I've been through. And God is so good. But out of fear of possibly being rebitten and traumatized by that experience, that kind of caused me to avoid nature. After I was discharged from the inpatient setting, after 3 months in a wheelchair, I ended up having to do outpatient therapy, water therapy for a year. So those two conditions knocked me back for an entire year. I had to learn how to walk again, all of that, even lost reflexes, all of that. I had to regain a sense of normalcy. Post treatment, I was unable to do sports again. I didn't have the endurance, I didn't have the stamina. My legs would give out. My muscles and my joints were no longer quite as strong as they were before. But that's okay. God is good. I am happy to be fully healed, fully recovered, with just a memory of what I went through. But again, this story is so important, and this moment is so important because I am back in nature, um, reconnecting with something I once loved prior to that traumatic experience. I went 25 years since the summer of 2000. I had gone 25 years avoiding nature out of fear of being rebitten, fear of being paralyzed, fear of possibly not surviving if there were to be a reoccurrence. Um, and in this surrender journey, in this faith journey, through the recommendation of a massage therapist last year who recommended I go outside to reconnect with nature to help with the stress and to help support my healing journey. I didn't recognize the importance and how much I needed that very thing. So here I am, 25 years later, technically 24 years later, as I started grounding again last year. I fell back in love with nature, but in a way that I had actually never really connected with nature. I grew up in nature and I enjoyed it, but now I have a newfound joy and love for nature because it has been very therapeutic with helping to heal stress, tension, mental health, emotional health, helps improve sleep, mood, energy, immune system. But this has allowed me to reconnect with God in a way I didn't imagine. I know some people say, well, I feel disconnected with God. How do you hear him? Where do you see him? Well, grounding in nature has helped me to see him everywhere, feel his presence everywhere. In the grass, I feel more connected. In the trees, in the sky, in the sun. It feels so heavenly when the sun shines on me. When the wind blows, I just feel so um, one one connected with nature. And it has become such a beautiful part of my healing journey and my faith journey, my spiritual journey altogether. And I just wanted to share this testimony because I had given into fear for 25 years, since the summer of 2000. Even after healing from that traumatic experience, I had healed physically, but not emotionally, not mentally. I allowed that experience to take away the joy that I had grew up and found in nature. And I'm just excited to say that God is so good. I faced my fears and continue to face my fears. I'm enjoying nature and all that it has to offer. I walk barefoot. Oftentimes, I bring a little sheet or blanket. I'll lay, I'll journal. You might even catch me hugging trees because that's part of my journey. But it's an amazing, beautiful part of my journey. So, I'm excited to be on this journey. I'm excited to share this testimony with you. I hope that this story encourages you. I know many of us are have so many fears to face, and I hope that this encourages you and inspires you to be willing to face some of your own fears. If it's similar to mine and maybe you just feel disconnected from God, I encourage you to to go and connect with nature. I find that that's where I feel closest to him, and I believe that while it might not have the same exact impact for you, I know it will be rewarding in so many ways. I see him, I hear him, I feel him. I feel so connected to him in nature. And it's just so good for us. Natural vitamin D, which so many of us, especially people of color, are deficient in because we don't get enough time it enough time spent in the sun. So it's just so therapeutic in so many ways. So I encourage you to get outdoors, even if you don't have an open park near to you. Just walk in your neighborhood, wherever you can that's safe for you. I encourage you to go out and let's face our fears together. Whether it's leaving a job, starting a job, applying for a job, leaving a relationship, or starting a new hobby, crossing off things on our bucket list. Let's face our fears together. Let's cross them off one at a time. It's the best thing that you can ever do. They say everything that you desire is on the other side of your fears. And so let's face them together. Thank you for joining me today. I'm out here drinking my freshly pressed watermelon juice. Just wanted to share this with you. I encourage you to share this story with someone. Please like and share. Subscribe below, and don't forget to hit the bell notification for reminders so you'll be updated when I do post new videos. Again, I hope that you come back. Please subscribe, share, and like. It's a pleasure to have you. And I just want you to be reminded that you can do all things through God who strengthens you. You are never doing things alone. God is always with you. And be encouraged that even in the natural, there are so many your other brothers and sisters on a similar journey who were walking these things out alongside of you. So you are never alone. I am never alone. We are never alone. And again, thank you for joining. I hope that this blesses you as much as it has blessed me. As always, I love you, but most importantly, God loves you. Be blessed and have a gloriously amazing week. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.